And here we
Watch a
are.
dung
The show
video?
is live. Hello, Podfeet.
Hello. Sorry, I was drinking my lovely
Vodka.
my lovely Kroger seltzer.
That's the fancy stuff.
That is the good stuff.
All right, let's get.
You don't believe me? Let's see. Oop, I missed.
Are you non-discriminately throwing cans around?
Indiscriminately, not non-discriminately.
Well, either one works.
All right, we have done everything, but what do we need to do?
We need a roll call.
Roll call. All right, we've got Seamus and Kevin and Bruce from Alabama and Frank from Japan and Mr. Ed from right down the street and Sandy and Zoe coming in from the UK. We got a wide, sorry, I was watching the dung spitting. Good, that's how you forgot your roll call. All right, well, I say we save. That's what I say we do. Mm-hmm. I don't know why that goes slow now, but it does. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I have a text expander snippet that puts in the date, the name of the file, and for something I did to it, makes it now take like 3 full seconds to type it in. All right. Places, everybody. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, November 24th, 2024, and this is show number 1020. 1020. You're going to want me to say 1020, aren't you?
No, 1020 is fine.
Good.
I'm just waiting until you get to 1040 and make some IRS joke.
Yep. The problem is Dave Hamilton's getting to make all the jokes before me.
Ah,
because
he's a hack.
I agree. All right, here we go. Shh. Now, you know I love me a good pivot table, right? Well, I found a nifty website from the U.S. Department of Energy that includes this treasure trove of data on electric vehicles and chargers. Of course, I had to tell Bodie Grimm of the Kilowatt Podcast about it, and then I showed him how I was able to take some downloads of data from this website, make a pivot table to see the progress in level 3 chargers over the past year, like how many have we gained by company. He thought this was cool, and he asked me to come on a show to talk about the data set and how pivot tables help me analyze this treasure trove of data. We had a blast, because how could you not? When you're talking to Bodie and getting to nerd out on data, that's the best. Anyway, you can find the episode at the link in the show notes or subscribe to the Kilowatt Podcast in your podcatcher of choice and look for the episode entitled EV Data Made Fun with Allison Sheridan. I put a link in the show notes to the pivot table spreadsheet I talked about during our conversation with Bodie. I actually figured out how to get OneDrive to let me share a file. It's harder than I thought it should be. Anyway, there's 2 tabs with the raw data dump from the Department of Energy about level 3 chargers for October 2023 and October 2024. And then I have 2 pivot tables, one for each of the raw data sets. The front page you see compares the 2 pivot tables to show the growth by each company in the number of chargers. If you'd like to download your own data set, the Alternative Fuels Data Center site from the U.S. Department of Energy is on a link in the show notes. Actually, you know what I could do? Would that be weird to throw that in right now? I guess it would be.
I put it in.
Well, it's a link to the Department of Energy. It's 2 different, it's links to the pivot tables and links to the, yeah, they can go to the show notes.
There's the link to the Department of Energy.
Oh, good. And we'll put our bumper music in. I think that intro music was a little quiet. Podcast with an ever so little hot. 4.7, not 5. All right, let's see. All right, and I sometimes worry when I teach stuff on the podcast that it's stuff everybody knows, and then I find out that people are learning these things from me, and it makes me really happy. Sandy learned something from this one, and who was it, Alistair? Somebody else learned something really important from something I did last week. Oh, the profiles thing, that they had never used it before and thought it was cool.
Didn't Bart learn something recently from
Well, probably.
you?
Always. Oh, shoot.
What?
I didn't, we had programming by stealth, and I didn't put it in here.
That's right.
Hold, please. The problem is I don't have a blog post anymore.
So, what do you do with it? Just a link? Oh, no. Oh, wait. It's just... Oh, you have to say something about
I'm
it.
going to take this out because
What
I'll
are you
take
taking out?
the chapter mark, because I don't want to. They're hard to move.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember where I wrote up. Oh, it was in Feeder. That's where it is. I wrote up some stuff to say about it. So
Good.
I just didn't want to have to write it on the fly.
Ian's here.
I know I had to write it.
Hello, Ian.
How lovely to see you. Okay, so now I need to go find. Don't let me forget. Somebody's got to remind me to. I don't want that. Somebody needs to remind me to go to, or to put this in the show notes. Here we go. So it's going to be this. Let's see. Oh, I guess I'll put a bumper in anyway here. Maybe right there. And then right there, I'll put in the chapter marker for this. PBS
So I guess that's my
173.
job. I'll remind you.
Yeah, to put it in the show notes. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I can close that. Well, when we go to do the chapter marks, it'll be off by one, right?
Right.
All right, here we go.
But you're not adding the text right now. You do that later
In the
blog post.
Yeah,
That
right.
refers to the
That's
link.
what I need to be reminded to do.
Okay.
Okay. In this week's Programming by Stealth, Bart Busschots explained what Git submodules are. Don't gotta say that word right. In this week's Programming by Stealth, Bart Busschots explained what Git submodules are. Nope. In Programming by Stealth 172, Bart Busschots explained what Git submodules are and the kinds of problems they solve. It was kind of a theoretical lesson. But in this week's show, in this practical lesson, he walks us through 3 scenarios where we actually get to get our fingers dirty and type in Git commands to learn how the process actually works. We get to pretend we're in a small web app business where company branding is important. In the first scenario, we're a new developer joining an app team, and we have a repo that already includes the branding submodule. In the second scenario, we're a seasoned developer on the team creating a new app, and we need to import the branding submodule. Finally, in the third scenario, we're one of the brand designers, and we want to update the branding. In that third scenario, we learned 2 different ways to incorporate the branding changes into the web apps for scenarios 1 and 2. I got to tell you, I'm always happy when I get to play along in the terminal, so this lesson was great fun. Of course, you can find Bart's fabulous tutorial show notes over at pbs.bartofrisso.net, and you can subscribe to Programming by Stealth by looking for it in your podcatcher of choice. All right, I stumbled a little bit, but considering it was... Actually, do you guys mind if I'm just going to take a second and do this right? My daddy always said, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. I'm going to put that chapter note in. Let's see.
Chapter note, meaning the
I'm
text,
updating the...
the blog post.
Yes. Okay, let's do it this way. All right, so you don't have to remember to... There we go. Oh, yeah, and I don't normally put that in the title, right? I don't think I do. You're typing.
Sorry,
Well, you know, you can be talking. All right. So now I'm going to put in another bumper. And now our you won't have... Actually, do you want me to push it up so that you have that chapter mark?
Yeah,
all right.
That would help.
Okay, send a blog. John was late.
Yeah.
I don't see him.
Yeah, there he is. That's a nut right below the brine.
He's not in the sidebar. He's not in live show listen.
Oh, I see. So, he's in the live show listen. At least I see him. Nassanut. You don't see Nassanut?
Oh, there he is. I try not to look directly at him. Okay. Let's see. We'll go right there and do a chapter mark 4. How to sign documents.
Oh, so did you push it up?
I did.
So I can refresh?
If you want to.
And there it is. Let's see if your link works. It does.
It's a miracle. All right. So now. All right. Here we go. I participate in an Apple user group through email where I often answer questions from those requesting help. And I can't resist the urge to share my expertise if it's going to help somebody else. Recently, a woman posted that someone had emailed her a document. She wanted to open it, sign it, and send it back, all without printing it out. She understood this could be done, but she didn't have any idea how to do it. And this was something I could explain. Now, the other thing she didn't want to do was ever save the file, but we'll get into how we're going to deal with that in a minute. Now, you may receive a PDF and want to do the same thing. Oh, no, I had that. This was something I could explain. I didn't need to add that. Leave the file. Something I could explain. Okay. Now, you may receive a PDF and want to do the same thing, but I'm going to start kind of one step backwards. She had received an editable text document, not a PDF. So I'll explain how to quickly create a PDF that you can sign. I'm going to go through in detail how to do this on a Mac and on an iPhone. Because I'm going to give you the details with screenshots in the show notes, it might get easy to get lost in all the detail I'm going to give you. So here at the beginning, I'm going to give you the outline, then I'll give you all the detail, and then I'm going to give you the outline again at the end so it sticks in your head. By the way, she also didn't want to save any files, which is a little bit odd in my opinion, but she didn't want to save anything. So there's some steps I may go through where I kind of skip over ever saving the file. All right, let's talk the outline of what we're going to do. We're going to open the text document. We're going to, and I'm going to put this in air quotes, print the document to PDF. We're going to open the PDF in either Preview on the Mac or Files on iOS. We're going to use markup tools to create a signature. We're going to add that signature, and then we're going to send the document back. Okay, that's not too bad, right? That's a concise set of steps, but I'm going to make sure there's so much detail you can't remember those steps, so I'll tell you them again at the end. All right, let's start with opening the text document. The woman I was helping had received a Microsoft Word document, and I explained to her that she could open it with Apple's free Pages app because she didn't have Microsoft Word. If you don't already have Pages installed, it's a quick download from the App Store. A huge advantage is that Pages runs on iOS too, so you can follow along with these steps on the Mac, iPad, or iPhone. There is one caution about opening Word files with Pages. You may run into some formatting problems caused by the translation between the apps or maybe missing fonts. If it's terrible, I'd suggest asking the sender to just give you a PDF instead. In fact, if somebody sent me an editable document to sign, I'd be kind of tempted to change and make the terms more favorable to me before I did any signing. That'll teach him. All right, let's assume for this exercise that you can open the document in Pages without issue. The process to create, sign, and send a PDF is slightly different between the Mac and iOS. And so rather than flipping back and forth between two operating systems, I'm going to walk first through the solution on the Mac, and then I'll explain it again on iOS because it is different. Once we have the document open in Pages on the Mac, we need to get it into Preview to add the signature. It's very simple to create a PDF on the Mac because it's built into the print function. Within Pages, choose File, Print, or Command P. But do not hit the print button at the bottom right because that's going to actually print the document. Instead, select the down chevron next to PDF. If you want to save it as a PDF, you can, but our goal is to never save a copy. Instead, you can simply choose Open in Preview. I actually found this when I was looking this up for this woman because I didn't realize you could go directly to Preview at this point. Now for the fun part. In Preview, select the pen in a circle and that'll show you the markup toolbar. In the markup toolbar, you're going to find a signature tool. It looks like a line with a scribbly signature above it. The signature icon will reveal an option to create a signature using one of three options. You can scribble your signature using your trackpad so you know that it looks like a 3-year-old signed it, or you can use the camera on your computer and you use that to take a photo of your signature you make on a piece of paper and you hold that signature up to the camera so you can get a really nice one. Thirdly, you can scribble your signature on your iPhone screen, which I'm pretty sure will also look like a 3-year-old signed it. But maybe you want that 3-year-old signature and you have a mouse instead of a trackpad, so that would be the only way you could get the 3-year-old signature. I personally prefer creating a nice looking signature by signing on a piece of paper with a real pen and then holding that up to the camera. Note that you can also use the description drop down to assign a stock name for this signature or to create a custom name. I never bother to do that because I can see visually which signature is which. Once your signature is stored in Preview, you never have to do this step again. Simply tap on the signature you made from the dropdown and it'll plop into the document you have open in Preview. Because we opened the Pages document directly into Preview, it's not actually a proper PDF yet, so you should see an error saying this document has changed and it has to be saved. We're just going to ignore that because we're going to be able to take care of that later. At this point, you can drag the signature from where it got plopped into the middle of the document, drag it up onto the line where you want to sign, and you can resize it with the little corner elements. Now, the original request was to do this entire process without ever saving the PDF. So, from Preview, we can select the share arrow, get it? Share arrow? We can select the share arrow and then select Mail. This will launch mail.app and attach a PDF of our signed document. Even though we never saved it as a PDF, remember it was yelling at us saying, you got to save this first. We never did that. That PDF simply comes into existence when we select Send to Mail. Personally, I would recommend saving a copy of any document you sign, for your own protection in case of some sort of dispute, but I still thought it was nifty we can do all of this without ever saving a document. You'll have to quit without saving after that. Now keep in mind, Preview stores your signature. I said you only need to do that step once. From now on, anytime you need to sign something on your Mac or your iPhone or your iPad, you'll still have that signature available. Actually, let's not say that because I'm not sure it's the same one. I think it is. On your Mac. From now on, anytime you need to sign something, you'll have that signature available from the markup toolbar. All right, let's switch gears and go through the process on iOS because, like I said, it is different. If you already created your signature on the Mac, you can just use it on iOS because it's going to show up. But let's go through the process assuming you're starting from scratch on iOS. I'm thinking about the time that Lindsay, the daughter, and her husband were with us on vacation and they only had their iPhones with them. They got a document from the realtor that had to be signed right away because they were closing on their first house. We used this technique to help them sign the document and send it back just from an iPhone. Let's assume that you, like Lindsay, received a text document in email. Like with the Mac, you can install Pages on the iPhone. In Mail.app, if you tap on the download button next to the document, you could choose to save it to files. But let's see if we can do it without ever saving that file. Instead of tapping on the enclosed document in Mail, press and hold on the document. You'll get a little preview of the document with options to open in Quick Look, save to files, share, or copy. But we don't want any of those. Simply tap the preview of the document again, and it'll close those options, but keep that little preview of the document up. We'll still see the preview of the document, but now we can see an option at the bottom that says Open in Pages. Once we have it open in Pages, we're going to do the same thing we did on the Mac. We're going to go into the print menu so we can, quote unquote, print a PDF. With the document open in Pages, use the share arrow to select Print. Now you're going to see a print dialog box with no clues that you can save a PDF from here. The hidden secret is to pinch out on the screen. All of that print dialog information will simply disappear, and you'll be looking at a nearly identical preview. But this is no longer a Pages document. Now it's a PDF. If you want to prove it to yourself, tap on the chevron at the top next to the name of the file, and you'll see it says it's a PDF. Let's tap away to close that. Now tap the Share from this PDF and choose Mail. The PDF will be attached to a new email. At this point, you want to double tap on the PDF inside Mail, because then you'll get a pop-up. Actually, don't get so excited. At this point, see, because Kevin wants me to. Take a drink. Look at all those pretty screenshots I made.
Kind of hard to keep up.
Is it? Yeah, it's a lot of them. Think how much work that was. That's like 17 of them. PDF will be attached to a new email. Okay. Double tap on the PDF inside Mail, and you'll see a pop-up menu. All it says is Cut, Copy, Paste, and Writing Tools. We don't want any of those. To the right of that is a chevron. Keep tapping the chevron to slide in new menu options, and eventually you're going to see Markup. In the Markup tools, you'll see the pen, pencil, and eraser tools across the bottom, but on the far right, I want you to tap the plus button. Within this list of tools, we can select Add Signature. If you've previously created a signature on your Mac or iOS device, as I mentioned, it'll be available to you right here. You'll also see the option to add or remove signatures. From this menu, you'll see any signatures you created previously with red buttons to remove them, but you also get a plus button to add a new one. Unlike the nice option on the Mac where you could scan a signature you wrote with a pen or on paper, on iOS you only have the option to sign like a 3-year-old. I know a lot of people are comfortable with a signature that's maybe just a squiggle, but I like mine to look like my name. Do your best, and notice there's a clear button to let you start over if it's not representative of your real signature. Then tap Done. If you're using an iPad with pencil, you'll probably do an admirable job on this step. Now, as soon as you finish creating the signature, it's going to again plop into the middle of the PDF just like it did on the Mac. You can drag and resize your signature, but on iOS, there's also a little line you can tap on to allow you to change the color and line thickness of your signature. I made my signature purple and significantly thicker. Still looks like a 3-year-old signed it, but at least it's pretty now. The stored signature is still thin and black, so you'll have to prettify it every time you insert it into a document. Tap Done, and your PDF with your lovely or childish signature appears on the document in Mail, and we never saved a document. The bottom line is that it's really easy to add your signature to a document you've received and send it right back. Now, I promised I'd review the steps at the end. You can come back and review the details, but remember, this process is simple. You receive a document, you print it to PDF, use the built-in Apple markup tools to add a signature, and you can create a signature once and use it across your Mac and iOS devices.
Wow.
Which
did she say why
beautiful?
she did not want to save the document? I hope it's not that she's worried about saving her signature.
You know, this woman
is saved.
This woman is not the most technical of the people I've ever met. To give you an idea of whenever I bring up talking about helping her, Pat Dengler knows her too and just says, bless her heart. Aww. But yeah, after she actually succeeded, and she does work on these things, so she tries. But she asked me, she said, so I got Pages. How do I open the Word document in Pages? I tried sliding it into it. Sliding it into it? I don't even know what she means. I said, file open.
I could envision someone not real comfortable with the OS trying to drag the file over the Pages icon to open it.
Well, that actually probably would work.
It probably would. Is that what she meant?
She said slide into, so.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Bruce is saying that's beautiful, my 3-year-old signature. Yeah, Sandy. Oh, I'm so glad you like that. That's good. That's excellent. Yeah, I have been using that for a long time, and I like it.
So it automatically gets shared across all your Apple devices?
Yeah, through
signature.
iCloud, whatever it's called.
Sharing, something sharing.
iCloud somebody or other sharing, yeah.
iCloud signature sharing.
Let's see. I didn't think that worked. Copy. Did you just take a drink of water?
Me? No,
Yeah. No?
No.
Oh, maybe it was me.
I don't drink water.
Sliding the document on top of a blank pages document. Yeah, Bruce, that's exactly what I think she was doing. It was like, okay. I mean, it's not the worst idea to try. I mean, what if that worked? That'd be cool. But I mean, for somebody like her to have downloaded a new app, figured out, how to open it eventually with my help, and then to do all this print to PDF stuff, it's pretty easy. But why use PDF Pen Pro when it's built into the Mac, John?
Well, plus she probably didn't have it.
Oh, no, he's responding to Sandy, who says PDF Pen Pro isn't working for her anymore. That got bought by somebody, right?
I think it did.
All right, here we go. All right. On last week's NosillaCast, I told you about how Paul Nealon made a very generous donation to support the show using PayPal. I also read you his letter in which he explained that he would have done it sooner, but he had trouble getting over the hump of creating a PayPal account. He also said, if I just had a PayPal button, that would have made it easier for him. This had literally never occurred to me before he suggested it. I did a bit of hunting around, and I found that the service Stripe could give me a way to take donations without the user having to open any kind of an account. Now, here's a fun fact. Stripe is an Irish-American multinational company, dual headquartered in Dublin and California, so it's completely in alignment with Bart and me. Now, I try to keep the dirty money bits away from the podcast, but I think it's an interesting point in time to talk about how these systems work from my end and then get into the technical aspects of how I made this change. PayPal charges me a 2.99% payment processing fee, so if you donate $25, they take 75 cents, leaving me with $24.25. Stripe also charges a fee, and it's a smidge less at 2.9%, but they also charge a 30-cent processing fee on top of that. So the same $25 donated using Stripe would only leave me with $23.98 versus the $24.25 through PayPal. As the donation amount gets bigger, that tiny difference in the fee percentage outweighs the 30% or the 30-cent fixed fee, but overall, you know what? They're close enough for me to consider them equivalent. The main thing from my perspective is that if I make it easier for you, maybe you're more likely to push that button, and that's going to beat the 30 cents every time. Well, the first step was to create a Stripe account, and that was unsettling. Since they'll be doing financial transactions on my behalf and depositing money into my accounts, and I presume reporting my income somewhere to government agencies, they need to know pretty much every bit of personally identifiable information about me. So I had to give them my address, my phone number, my bank account number, and social security number. Yikes, I did all of this with PayPal and Patreon, of course, but I haven't done it recently. I wasn't comfortable with having my phone number and home address in the system because the way they originally described it, my phone number and address would appear on invoices that you would be sent after you donated. I love you all, but that's just a smidge more exposure than I was interested in. Luckily, I did some online sleuthing about it, and I found a toggle where I could turn it off, and it turned out to be off by default, so that was nice. Now, Stripe is designed for people selling things, so there's a lot of features I don't need. There wasn't any upsell, though, and I was able to create a fairly simple form fairly quickly with the relevant information. I was able to add my Podfeet logo to the form, for example. Strangely, it put a cute little Podfeet in the upper left and a giant pair of Podfeet in the middle as well. Not quite sure how to control that. They also had some branding options to match my color palette, but it seemed a bit extreme. The defaults, I think, will be more familiar to people, which gives a feeling of confidence. You have absolutely seen a Stripe screen before, and you'll recognize it'll feel like, oh yeah, this is how you pay for these things. It was suggested that I put in a default dollar amount, so I chose $20. But you can change that. It's not as obvious as I would have liked that you can change it. It's a light gray pill button that says change amount, and then the $20 will become editable. Hey, maybe I should have made it $1,000 so you'd be motivated to find the button. Oh, I did poke around a bit. I wanted to see, could you change to a currency of your choosing, but I didn't find a way to do that. I did find something that says it would do it, but it didn't seem to work. Right below that suggested amount, they give me a description field. This way, you can see your donation will pay for expenses such as servers, software, and other hardware used to create the podcast. Now, the best part is that prominently displayed at the top is a black button with Apple Pay in white. You can't miss it. And while that was my main goal, Stripe also allows a whole slew of other options. You'll be able to use any credit card, not just Apple Pay, and you can use the Cash App, Amazon Pay, something called Klarna, and another one called Link. Now, I've noticed that while the Apple Pay logo is prominently displayed on top all of the time, the other services kind of cycle through the number 2 spot right next to it. I was talking to Pat Dingler about Stripe, and she's been using it for ages, and she asked why I didn't have Google Play showing. I went back to where I'd been messing around with Link and some of the other options, and sure enough, I was able to put in Google Pay. Oddly, Google Pay doesn't show up on the payment page, and I haven't been able to figure out why. If you don't use Safari, but instead use a Chromium browser like Microsoft Edge, do that again. There's another strangeness. If you're not using Safari, but instead use a Chromium browser like Microsoft Edge, Arc, or even Google Chrome, you will not see Apple Pay. I looked up why, and it had something to do with Apple's security requirements, but I couldn't get anything less vague than that. Now, I haven't dug into it too much, but there's also an option to set up subscriptions in Stripe. That might be interesting. What if you wanted to do regular monthly donations, but you didn't want to have a Patreon account? I'm not sure how that works, though. I think you might have to assign a price, or I might have to assign a price, and that's not the way I like to do things. I like you guys to get to pick the number you want to donate, but it's a thought for the future. Now, once I had the form set up and gave away my firstborn child to Stripe, sorry, Lindsay, the service gave me a long gobbledygook URL. It starts with buy.stripe.com and then has all the glop after that. But I'm not going to make you remember that address. Everything's good's got to start with podfeed.com, right? I needed to come up with a memorable name to send you to. I could have used podfeed.com/Stripe, but then you'd have to remember what service I chose. Also, if I ever changed away from Stripe, then that would stop working and you'd have to learn a new URL. Just like how podfeed.com/chat takes you to Discord, in case we ever move how we chat and you won't have to learn a new thing, this fancy new link to Stripe is at podfeed.com/donate. I know. Patreon's at podfeed.com/Patreon and PayPal's at podfeed.com/PayPal, but I'm trying to future-proof these things. So the new URL is podfeed.com/donate. In order to create these redirects, so you don't have to remember hard URLs, I have to do some interesting work. My server is hosted by DigitalOcean, and if I log into their web service, I get a button to open console, and that logs me into my server at the command line with root privileges. I know this is possible using GUI tools like Core Shell, available in SetApp, but it seems kind of fragile to me. I keep having to ask Bart or Bill to help me get it working again. They've both helped me more than once, and it just seems to be broken every time I go in to use it. The console button in DigitalOcean site is 100% reliable, which is why I choose that method instead. Now that I'm logged into my server with root privileges, I have to remember the structure of how my web server is set up. As you'll probably remember, awesome NosillaCast Way Bill helped me do major surgery on my server, including moving it from the web server Apache to something called Nginx. The good news is I took copious notes as Bill told me what to do. I keep those notes in Keep It by Reinvented Software. I'm really glad I have these notes because he created a structure that has more than one directory that looks like it's my web server. There are sites-available and sites-enabled. In my copious notes, I quoted Bill. He said, only make changes to the file in the sites-available directory. The symlinked file in sites-enabled will automatically change. Okay, whatever that means, I made sure I recorded also in my notes. All of this is in /etc/nginx sites-available. All right, we've logged into the console. We know how to change directory to sites-available. And I also recorded that the file to be edited to add these redirects is called podfeet.conf. So it's a configuration file. I didn't write this in my notes, but I remember every time Bill and I messed with this file, Bill made me make a copy of it first with the current date, just in case we borked it up. This podfeet.conf file has a lot of stuff in it, but the section we're interested in is the redirects. I usually duplicate and then edit one of the existing redirects because it's a pretty arcane little command. The line says location equals, then / and the word I want you to use in the URL. So I put /donate. Next, we have to tell the web that this is a redirect, and you do that with the term return 302. And then you follow that by where you want it to redirect to, in our case, the Stripe URL with all the glop in it. I put in the show notes the entire thing, but I'm not going to read it to you because it's long and annoying. Once the file is safely saved, I need to tell the web server Nginx to reload so it sees the new config file. That's done with a system management command called systemctl. The command is systemctl reload Nginx. At this point, I was able to type in podfeet.com/donate and verify that it redirects to our fancy new Stripe page offering Apple Pay and other methods. On podfeet.com, one of the red buttons says support the show. That button takes you farther down the homepage to a row of linked images for the different ways you can help out. We've got Patreon, PayPal, a link to all my referral links, and finally a suggestion to support the show by recording a review. I wanted to add an icon that would take you to our fancy new donate page over on Stripe. Now, I use a theme called Site Origin North, which gives me kind of a little building block method to create the custom homepage you see. I had 4 icons for supporting the show, so I had to squeeze in another one for the Stripe link, but I didn't want to use Stripe's logo. Instead, I used the Noun Project, which is the worst name on earth for an awesome service to find icons. I pay for this service because it's so great, but it has the most unmemorable name. I sit there for a long time going, oh my gosh, what is it called? I don't remember. Anyway, I finally found the Noun Project, and I found an icon that looks like a MasterCard with a little magnetic stripe, and then the icon has a dollar bill symbol on it. In the Noun Project, you can also change the color before you download the icon, so I used the color picker to make it the same flashy red as my buttons. I uploaded my fancy new icon and resized it to mostly match the size of the other ones. That's always been a struggle. They're kind of lumpy looking. I try to align them, but it doesn't really work. Anyway, we now have a link to Stripe that says donate with credit card. While I was there messing around with the homepage, I realized that the row of icons above the ways to support the show was for tutorials. And I don't really do that many tutorials per se anymore. I mean, I guess I just did a tutorial for you about this whole signature thing, but it's just not a thing I do constantly. So I deleted that entire row, so the page is actually a lot shorter. Then I noticed I still had a Twitter icon as a way to be in the conversation, so I deleted that for obvious reasons. I noticed that there's kind of a big gap in the rows, and I do need to fix that, and I think I know how, but it's kind of arcane in the Site Origin North theme builder, so I'm going to save that for another day. You know, this could have been a one-liner when I panhandled for donations in the middle of the show, but I thought it might be fun to pull back the curtain on how all of this works in the background.
A couple observations. Mm-hmm. The podfeet.conf file, configuration file, you talked about this, the term return 302 in all of the locations, but the one of interest has return 301 for some reason. Is that
the one of interest?
The Stripe one, the one for Stripe.
Oh, good grief. No, that's just a mistake in the show notes. I mean, in the screenshot.
Okay.
Good eye. Jeez.
Okay. The other thing is, I think you said this, but I wanted to make sure this is clear. When you're using Google Chrome, you can't have Apple Pay show, and
can't see it.
You can't, and when you're using Safari, you can't see Google.
I don't know how
Pay.
You ever see Google Pay. I have enabled Google Pay, but I
was
can't.
Thinking they're just blocking each other's method.
No, I'd like to know if anybody can see Google Pay because I've enabled it and it just doesn't show up.
And you've tried it using Chrome and the other Chromium browsers. Okay.
Yeah. I can't believe I even underlined it. It says 301. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I can't change that one.
Yeah. And then I found one other mistake I made, so I'm going to send that back up. I meant to do these in the opposite order. I'm going to take a chance of messing this up because the next thing I'm going to do is panhandle for money. Let me see how stupid it would sound to switch right to that. Yeah, I'm gonna switch these. This is going to be gene splicing. Everything will probably go horribly wrong. What's wrong, honey?
No, nothing.
Oh, dear. Oh, this is going to be hard. So what I think I'll do is I think I only stopped once in the middle. Take this, and I'm going to move these down. And then I'm going to take, we're going to have to go get that take my money. Okay, this one, this one, this one, this one are going to move down. Oh, and this one. And those are going to move way down here. I don't know which is longer. But this one, this one, this one, then are going to go back here. This is going to be a mess, isn't it?
What order are you trying to achieve?
I'm trying to swap the order of these two articles.
What are the two? I can't see what the two are.
How to take my money and how to do the print to PDF.
So you're moving Take My Money first and then the PDF? I can't tell which.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, so now that should be. Hang on. Now I gotta zoom in and see this. Okay, then we should go to like right there. All right, so now if that's Take My Money, let's see how that sounds. In your podcatcher of choice. On last week's NosillaCast, I told you about how Paul... Okay, it's a little bit long, but now let's go down and find this one. Now we gotta take up most of this. All right, let's separate these out. What could possibly go wrong, huh, guys? Am I making you nervous, Steve?
I just don't know where you're going to put your support the show. Whoop.
So what I didn't want to do was talk about all those changes I made to add the button and then turn around and immediately ask for money from that button. Okay. It's funnier if there's some other stuff in the middle. Did you just drop something? Are you okay?
No, it was a cattail.
Oh. This works in the background. Okay. What? What are you holding up?
That was Grace's tail.
Okay. So I think you got distracted and didn't listen, so don't in the background.
That's a long gap.
Yeah. I agree. All of this works in the background. I participate in an Apple user group through email. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I can say...
Support the show.
Support the show. So pretend you didn't just hear that.
There's a
Did
new
you
method
send the
now.
cat in here?
No.
Well, she just opened the door.
No, she's fast.
Let's see. Devices. Okay. And now we're going to do a chapter mark there. It will be a very short one. Oh, good. She's going to jump on the table, on the desk,
Yeah, you're going to get a cattail.
I bet you're wondering what I'm going to talk about during my quick support the show segment, aren't you? Well, I got a wild and crazy idea. How about you go to podfeet.com/donate and try out my fancy new Apple Pay method of donating money to support the show. Or if you're not an Apple Pay person, you could use a normal credit card. You know, it would be swell if, some people tested it out for me for research purposes, of course. All right. Whose door was ajar?
Yours.
All right. Ooh, security bits. Come on. Here we go.
Ed.
What do you do? Get a CAT scan? Wait.
Wait, what?
Oh, security bits. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
That was right. I was going, why is that not programming myself? Okay. All right. Now let's go find some Allison and some Bart. Oh, so my mic sounds funny in the recording with Bodie, and Bodie explained why. We were down in San Diego. I was on my Rode mic.
Okay, I didn't
Does
remember
my
that.
Rode mic sound that bad?
I don't recall it sounding like that. You sure you were on your Rode mic?
Well, that's what he remembered.
It sounded to me like maybe you were on your iPhone.
There's no way I could be on my iPhone. But
With this device, what do you call it? I often switch to my iPhone accidentally. I had to turn that off.
I've never had that happen.
Using your iPhone as an audio source, a mic, that feature.
Yeah.
If that's enabled, it can automatically pick up your iPhone. And in fact, Discord does it all the time. I have to switch it out to my regular mic.
I
often.
never have that happen.
It's weird.
All right, let me see. Okay, I know there's a bad... Bart and I kind of see this big pause. But let's hear how this sounds. Purposes, of course. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Bouchotz. And I just noticed something. I think my voice sounds normal. I think it might be back finally.
Oh, wow. Yay, better late than never. Good.
Is it a month and a half of gravel voice? Okay. Gravel voice?
Well, hey, it's winter, so these things happen.
I guess so.
Unique scroll bar.
Oh.
Instead of a very, very small scroll bar.
So it's a good week.
It's a good week cybersecurity-wise, and I found us some interesting conversations to have anyway.
I did
you have to
get
give
a
me a
cat.
little bit of leeway from our usual definition, but I'm senior American officials.
Who agreed to have a back door? What company here? Or
Oh, T-Mobile has now confirmed that they were hacked.
all right.
Oh,
Do you hear
this is
Whoa. Oh,
they got
jeez.
really loud.
Yeah. Who do you think did that?
Was that Grace turning up the volume?
Yes.
The gain?
She's rubbing her head on the dial on the Wave XLR.
She wanted to hear more of you.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Here, let's just listen to her.
Yeah. And there's a little purr bucket.
Okay. I do all this work to get good sound isolation, I've got to pay for all these Okay, stop. She's doing it again. Okay. She likes the angles on the Elgato stuff. Play with the Stream Deck. That's not quite as dangerous. What were you going to say, though?
So
before
I heard
got-
in the news, maybe this is it, that there were several government officials who were hacked. And hacked is, I guess, qualified here. I heard a number like over 200 government officials have had their accounts. I'm not
What
sure
kind of
accounts.
hacked? Their
It
phone
sounded
accounts?
to me like it was through cell
Yeah.
service.
Yeah,
and
that's what that
it
was about.
wasn't, and it was metadata that they were getting access to.
Yeah, according to Bart, it's a backdoor that the government uses
How
to
handy.
get into people's phones, get information about who's calling who, and the Chinese hackers got into it.
The
And
government's
got into
tool.
the system that they use to listen to, or not listen to conversations, but get to that metadata. So
Yeah,
the
that
government
is what I
uses a
heard.
tool in order to get that metadata from phone conversations, and then the bad guys got into that, the baddies.
And it's pretty targeted from what I've heard. It's not a
Yeah,
blanket thing.
maybe the government officials will understand what a backdoor is.
Now they will.
No, I'm not going to make any assumptions, but they'll know it was a bad thing.
Yeah.
Let me listen to this end here.
I just tried to find a link, and now I don't remember my own outro. Stay patched till you stay secure or something.
Yeah, he lost it at the end there. She really loves that corner. Yeah, the article, that whole thing has been known for a little while, but T-Mobile just admitted that they also were part of the hacks.
Oh, so others have been other service providers as well. I just lost your audio. Oh, let me guess.
Yeah, that's
Great.
because somebody muted it. Why did you give me the cat?
I didn't. She just wandered off. I guess I was boring.
I did not want the cat. She's adorable, but she's destructive. Anyway, you and I listened to a podcast where that exact thing was all explained one time.
Got it.
All right, here's the outro. Oh, you've had to change the output to your Blue Yeti microphone. Can't figure out why you can't hear anything. Nice. Oh, NASA Nuts had the problem too. Is this a cat problem? Oh, you guys are just talking about Discord doing it. All right, here we go. Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeed.com anytime you like? If you have a question or suggestion, just send it on over. Remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You can follow me on Mastodon at podfeed.com/Mastodon. And if you want to listen to the podcast on YouTube, just go to podfeed.com/YouTube. If you want to join the conversation, you can join our Slack community at podfeed.com/Slack, where you can talk to me and all of the other lovely Nosilla castaways in there. It's great fun. You can support the show at podfeed.com/Patreon, or with a one-time donation at podfeed.com/PayPal, or podfeed.com/donate, where you can use PayPal or a credit card of your choice. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. Thanks for listening, and stay subscribed.
You need to change your outro.
I do. I do.
I saw you wing that
Ad-libbing
one.
it. Yeah, okay, I gotta make another sticky note. Yeah, I forgot one step there. Yeah, never assume about the government, Kevin says. Let's see, what was I gonna say? Let's see, outro, ad/donate. It will be interesting to see if that has any effect on financial well-being of the podcast. All right. And enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. Thanks for listening, and stay subscribed. There we go.
Okay.
7 minutes early.
Yeah.
Hey.
Let's do a chapter count.
Isn't it? Oh, should have done that before I did this. What do you guys think about having a show on Sunday of Thanksgiving? It's going to be all pre-recorded stuff if we have one.
So a live show with pre-recorded stuff. Mm-hmm. So it might be short.
All right. Have it anyway. We may be down at Lindsay's house, so we may be just sitting there having gin and tonics. We'll have the kids come in, gobble, gobble.
I've heard one of the worst days to drive back from Thanksgiving is Monday,
Monday?
not Sunday.
Lindsay said it was Sunday.
No, I hear that because of these modified schedules where people have more flexibility to work from home, people are taking advantage of that and not working Monday or staying at home.
Okay, well, Lindsay was trying to convince us to stay through Monday.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know where
we'll
we'll
figure
be.
it out. We'll figure it out.
All right, sounds good. I see 6 chapters. How about you?
That's the number I got. Yeah, including support the show, right?
Yep. All righty.
Mm-hmm.
So I've exported a file. I am ready to go. I've got a cat. Here, I can prove it. There's a tail. Oh, well, that made her mad.
I should come back here.
All right. Well, wait, but Thanksgiving is Thursday. Yeah, why does it take till Monday for people to... Well, We'll decide that, I guess, but we'll be somewhere.
Yeah.
And wherever we are, it will be canned content because I've already got a bunch of great recordings from people. So,
Well, thank you, people.
ooh, I got doubled audio all of a sudden.
You just quit Hindenburg, it looks like, or it crashed?
Yeah. And that caused your audio to be doubled.
Interesting.
Does the chat room here double from Steve? Why would they?
This is Steve talking. How many times do you hear Allison? Once or twice? Allison
This
talk
is
a little
just-
bit once. So they hear us once. I think you're the only one hearing the doubling. But there was something that happened right when Hindenburg went away. So
Well, open up Hindenburg. What happens? Okay, talk.
this is Steve. Do you hear me once or twice?
I hear you once. I mean, twice. What the heck?
Well, now's not probably the time to debug this.
Well, it's happening right now. I got nothing else to do. Please wait, why do that? You know, see, yeah. It's almost interesting that I'm not here. I think it makes sense that I am hearing you twice.
All right.
I'll tell you why. What's weird is that I didn't. Is Sound Source is the thing that I use to keep from hearing you twice, hearing you in Discord and in StreamYard.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow
What does that have to do with Hindenburg?
I don't know. Somehow killing Hindenburg, my system went, oh, you're not running Sound Source.
Oh, what? Okay.
I don't know. It's a mystery. This thing's a nightmare. Talk again.
This is Steve. Hello, 1, 2, 3.
I just started Sound Source back up, and now it looks normal, and I only hear you once.
Interesting.
What a mess. Grace using the headphones headsets. All right. Well, now it
On
is
that note-
5:57. We should probably let people go.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming. This was a good time. I enjoyed myself having you here. The donate
enjoyed
button
it.
works. Yay.
Yeah.
Ooh, does that mean somebody you pushed it?
Ian said it worked for him too.
Ooh, we're getting some scientific testers here. That's fun. All right, if you gave me $1, you realize it. It's $3.30. Or wait, how much? I don't know. I get like 44. John says I've already received 2 payments. Good. All right, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Ian. All right, everybody, we'll see you. Thanks for pushing the button.
Bye all. Have a great week.